So did you know that Raycon makes headphones? Well, they do, and even I was surprised that they did since I have never heard of these. They tend to mostly focus their marketing on the E25s and once upon a time on the E55s as well. I've even gone ahead and tested out the Raycon E85s as of late and had a pretty similar yet more positive take on those earbuds in comparison to the other ones that I have reviewed thus far. So will their final and the last pair that they have left on their website that I have not reviewed yet be the one to captivate me? Introducing the Raycon H20. Let's go ahead and dive right in. Before we continue, don't forget that I have a Twitch channel that you can go ahead and follow me on for live microphone reviews and much more than that. But you're also going to find my Instagram and a link to the Tech Summit Discord in the description. So come join the community because it is a pretty cool one. We've also opened up a Patreon as of late where if you join, you'll be automatically entered to win one tech gadget every month in our exclusive giveaways. Details to that are going to be down below. Don't forget to check out the description for everything. Now let's get right into the video. Now let's begin with an unboxing. This comes in this beautiful red box, which once opened will reveal the instructions. Then you're going to find the headphones themselves, and past that, there's going to be a compartment with the USB-C cable for charging and a 3.5mm cable for wired use. The exterior design here consists of plastic. This is a big pair of headphones, but definitely not a heavy one, as it is pretty lightweight. It is actually pretty easy to carry around, and they can fold in different ways to make these easier to travel with and to stuff away in your bag or something like that if that's what you want. They have this metal look for the top of the drivers, I would say, though it is still plastic, obviously. I think that these do look really nice, especially in this color since it just looks so bright. I think that a lot of people will like this design since these look really good. But they don't really feel very strong, and I thought that this was a little bit odd considering that Raycon's actually pretty great when it comes to withholding that track record with just good build quality for their earbud. This one, as in like this pair of headphones, feels more sensitive than I would have expected from them. On the right, you're going to find volume controls, a power button that behaves as your play and pause button as well, a USB-C port for charging. On the other side, there's going to be a 3.5mm jack for wired use, and also, just going right back to the right, you're going to be finding the ANC button for using ambient noise or active noise canceling. So when it comes to the comfort here, these do a very good job because they actually have a lot of padding. That's preference, however, and part of that preference is having good clamping force, which these also have. It's kind of like squishing two oily pillows onto your ears, I guess. They're pretty comfortable for the moment, but I will find myself wanting to take these off after maybe 2 hours tops. So these aren't really like the most comfortable headphones on the market at this time, but I am sure that a lot of people will find these pretty solid, just quite comfortable overall, because I mean, they do offer quite a bit of that. Now let's go ahead and talk about the sound quality of these headphones. So I understand that these are different from their earbuds since obviously, I mean, they can fit drivers that are much bigger than the ones on the buds. Therefore, we can expect greater things from these. When it comes to listening to different genres of music, such as pop, hip-hop, rap, jazz, and many other genres like those, honestly, all of those sounded really nice through these. It's because these are definitely more bass heavy, but they aren't really super punchy either, which can be a good or a bad thing for some people depending on what your preference is. But also the wider sound stage that you naturally get with bigger drivers helps with splitting up the instruments and getting a better sense of what the music is actually supposed to sound like, which is going to be quite nice, and it just allows for a lot more enjoyment from music. These are not flat by any means, by the way. Do not misinterpret that, please. But I did listen to some metal, and while it's still muddier than using a more flat pair in places like the heavy guitar and especially deep gutturals, there is still a good amount of emphasis on the higher pitched screams. So this pair is obviously going to be a lot better for metal than any of Raycon's earbuds. However, I don't recommend that you get these if that's mostly what you're going to be listening to, because it's definitely not worth it. I can recommend other pairs around that price tag that will be much better for metal. Needless to say, these can handle complicated and busy genres of music pretty decently. Sometimes the low end is still a bit too emphasized, and oftentimes it feels like there is a bit of a lack of presence on the high end, and this is true for just about every single genre that I have tested. But honestly, not bad. I never really felt like straight up listening to something else because the music sounded terrible through these, unlike how I have felt with other earbuds from Raycon. I think that when it came to their headphones, sound-wise they did a better job. It was also easier to do a better job with these. And I had a totally fine time listening to anything more casually. So yeah, I don't hate the sound, and in fact, I actually kind of like it. Now let's talk about ANC and ambient sound. They're both okay with these. ANC is really the better performer, I would say, of the two because you feel it when ANC is on, but cabin pressure will get to you eventually. That's for sure. But if you need it for canceling out noise from outside, it'll do pretty well, but keep in mind that music does sound different when you have this mode activated, which is one of my biggest pet peeves regarding affordable ANC headphones. For some reason, they can't really seem to be able to balance that. You know, being able to keep the same sound quality that these headphones are supposed to deliver on while still being able to block out more noise. It seems to be something that they really struggle with. The sound signature just usually changes for the worse when ANC is active, and that is, in fact, what ruins the entire experience of ANC for me. So I tend to keep it off because passive noise isolation is still pretty good with these regardless. Now, when it comes to ambient sound, it barely lets any noise in, so I wouldn't really consider this a good way of staying aware of your surroundings either. Plain and simple. And battery life on these is going to be about 20 hours on a full charge, which I think is actually fine, honestly. You might find yourself charging these every few days depending on your usage, but I have no qualms with the battery life whatsoever. So to conclude my Raycon saga, for the time being at least until they release new products, I will end these on a positive note. I actually liked these for the comfort, the aesthetic, the battery life, even the sound is nice, and I can see many people being happy with them here. The only duds here, I would say, with it are, one, they should have included a carrying case, since I really don't want to get these dirty at all, especially considering the color. Two, ambient noises, meh. And 3, ANC changes the way that music sounds, usually thinning out the sound to make it come off a little bit weird. It's just unpleasant, but I would have considered these honestly a fine value at $100, even without these features. Would I recommend them? Audiophiles should definitely stay away, but if you just want an affordable pair of headphones with good style and honestly good enough sound for just about anything, then I can really strongly recommend these to you. These are probably around the top of my list regarding value for headphones at this price range, you know, like around $100 and below, I would say. So yes, I can recommend these. If you're interested in purchasing these headphones, then I'll be making sure to leave links down to Raycon's website in the description. Now, this is not going to be an affiliate link, so, you know, don't worry about it. It's just to make it a little bit more accessible to you guys. And also, I would love to give a very special thanks to all of our tier 3 patrons, the $10 patrons, which are going to be Omar, Joe Moss, and Saad Al-Wazal. Thank you so much for all of your support because it really does go a very long way. And now on to the rest of our patrons, which are going to be the tier 2 $5 patrons coming right up. And this is super important. I would just like to give a very special thanks to all of our patrons, which are going to be listed right here on the screen. Again, a massive thanks to you all for supporting us to help us create the kind of content that we bring to you on a day-to-day basis. And thank you so much for supporting the Tech Summit podcast as well. And just remember that if you would like to be a part of this community too, and then do make sure to check out the links to our Patreon, where you don't only get bonus episodes of our podcast, but you also get automatically entered into one of our monthly giveaways of a tech product that we have reviewed that is of at least $50 in value or higher. So links to that down below. And don't forget to follow me on the rest of my social media, such as my Instagram and my Twitch, where I do like to stream fairly often as well. And don't forget about the Tech Summit Discord, which is going to be linked down below. Please make sure to join that because we do have a pretty cool community of people over there. So with that said, this has been Francisco from Tech Summit. Thank you for watching, and I will be seeing you all later. Enjoy.